Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome back to our space for growth and reflection. Today, we're not just discussing a book, we're opening a door to a profound shift in how we experience life itself. We're diving deep into Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, a timeless guide that has resonated with countless individuals seeking a more profound sense of peace, purpose, and presence in their daily lives. If you've ever found yourself caught in the relentless currents of worry about the future, burdened by the ghosts of the past, or simply living with a persistent feeling that something vital is missing, despite your best efforts, then I believe this conversation will speak directly to your heart. The power of now isn't merely a collection of philosophical ideas. It's an intensely practical blueprint for transformation, an invitation to uncover a wellspring of calm, clarity, and vibrancy that lies dormant within you, always accessible, always ready to be tapped. Let's begin by understanding the remarkable individual behind these teachings. Eckhart Tolle's own journey is as compelling as his message. Born in Germany, his early life was marked by periods of intense anxiety and deep unhappiness, a pervasive sense of dis-ease that mirrored the very struggles he would later help others transcend. For years, he grappled with what he describes as almost continuous anxiety and profound inner suffering, a persistent psychological pain that ultimately led him to a breaking point, a moment of utter despair in his late 20s. It was during this darkest hour, on one fateful night, that he experienced a radical and spontaneous spiritual awakening. This wasn't a gradual process or a learned technique. It was an instantaneous and profound dissolution of his former self, a complete surrender that ushered in an extraordinary state of continuous, intense peace and joy. His old identity, the one he had struggled with for so long, simply vanished, leaving behind an astonishing sense of liberation. For nearly 2 years following this profound shift, he lived in a state of quiet, inner bliss, often finding solace and contentment simply sitting on park benches, completely present, completely at peace, simply being. It was only gradually that people began to sense his unique presence, his profound stillness, and the quiet wisdom that emanated from him. They started seeking his counsel, drawn to the undeniable aura of peace he carried. From these humble and unplanned beginnings, his transformative teachings slowly emerged, culminating in The Power of Now, a book that distills the essence of his powerful insights into language that, while simple, carries immense depth. So, what exactly is this power of now that Tolle speaks of so eloquently? At its core, it's a revolutionary yet incredibly simple concept. It's a guide to inhabiting the only moment that truly, genuinely exists, the present. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds almost too obvious, doesn't it? And yet, take a moment to reflect on your own daily experience. How much of your waking life are you truly, fully immersed in what you're doing right now? Are you savoring your morning coffee, feeling the warmth of the mug, tasting the rich flavor? Or are you simultaneously scrolling through your phone, mentally rehearsing your day's tasks, or replaying a conversation from yesterday? Are you engaged in a conversation with a loved one, but half of your attention is already drafting an email in your head, or perhaps fretting about an upcoming deadline? Are you trying to unwind, but your mind is a relentless torrent of worries about tomorrow's challenges or regrets about past decisions? Tolle's central premise is that most of us live almost exclusively in our minds. perpetually caught in a cycle of thoughts about the past and the future. We are so rarely truly anchored in the vibrant, alive reality of this very moment. This ceaseless mental activity, this unending stream of internal monologue, is what he refers to as the egoic mind, and he posits that it is the primary source of much of our personal and collective suffering. Now let's consider why this message holds such profound relevance in our contemporary world, perhaps more urgently than ever before. We find ourselves living in an era that relentlessly pulls our attention away from the present. Our digital devices are veritable factories of distraction, constantly bombarding us with notifications, demanding our immediate attention for events that happened minutes ago, or speculative scenarios that might unfold next week. The pervasive influence of social media cultivates a deep-seated FOMO, the fear of missing out, as we incessantly compare our current reality to someone else's meticulously curated highlight reel, always looking outside for validation or a sense of completeness. The relentless pace of modern life seems to accelerate exponentially, pushing us to constantly be planning, achieving, acquiring, and looking ahead to the next thing. This constant mental busyness creates a pervasive, often subconscious, undercurrent of anxiety, stress, and a feeling of being perpetually overwhelmed. We often feel exhausted, not necessarily from physical exertion, but from the sheer relentless activity of our minds. The power of now emerges as a radical and potent antidote to this modern predicament. It offers not just abstract theories, but practical tools and profound insights to help us disengage from the tyrannical demands of continuous thought and to consciously reconnect with the stillness, the peace, and the vibrant aliveness that are intrinsically present in this very moment. It's about finding true freedom not by orchestrating drastic changes in our external circumstances, but by fundamentally transforming our internal relationship with them. It's about recognizing that the elusive peace and happiness we so ardently crave aren't to be found in some distant future or in achieving a different set of conditions, but are miraculously available to us right here, right now, if only we learn how to access them. As we continue this journey through Tolle's wisdom, we'll explore exactly how to tap into this immense power, how to gently disidentify from the relentless demands of the mind, and how to truly begin living, rather than just endlessly thinking about living. The unenlightened mind, the tyranny of the ego. Welcome back, fellow seekers. As we delve deeper into Eckhart Tolle's profound insights, it's crucial to understand the primary obstacle to experiencing the power of now, what he calls the unenlightened mind, or more specifically, the ego. Now, when we talk about the ego here, we're not speaking in the common psychological sense of arrogance or conceit. Tolle uses the term to describe that pervasive sense of I that is fundamentally identified with our thinking process, our personal history, and our external forms. It's the voice in your head, the one that never quite shuts up, constantly narrating, judging, complaining, and interpreting your reality. This is the ego at play, and it's remarkably clever, insidious even, in how it keeps us from the present moment. The ego, in Tolle's view, isn't a solid fixed entity. It's a construct, a collection of mental and emotional patterns that create a false sense of self. It thrives on identification with possessions, with social roles, with personal achievements, with past failures, with future aspirations. Think about it. How often do you define yourself by what you have, what you do, or what happened to you? I am a success. I am a failure. I am a victim. I am a parent. I am a doctor. These are all mental labels, roles, and narratives, that the ego uses to solidify its perceived existence. It tells us stories about who we are, stories that, while seemingly true, are ultimately just products of thought. And these stories, while they can provide a sense of identity, also create limitations, fears, and a constant craving for more. The ego needs to be right, it needs to be superior, it needs to be distinct from others, and often, it needs to feel special or significant. These needs fuel much of our dissatisfaction. One of the ego's most powerful tools is its relentless obsession with time. For the ego, the present moment is rarely good enough. It's either dwelling on the past, replaying perceived injustices, indulging in nostalgia, feeling guilt or regret, or it's projecting into the future, planning, worrying, hoping, fearing. It convinces us that our happiness, our fulfillment, our true self lies either in correcting something from the past or achieving something in the future. I'll be happy when, or if only X hadn't happened. This constant mental time travel ensures that we rarely experience the fullness and aliveness of this moment. The ego lives through anticipation or recollection. It doesn't truly live. The consequences of this pervasive identification with the ego are profound and often debilitating. It's the source of constant inner turmoil. When our sense of self is built on fleeting external forms or mental constructs, we become inherently unstable. We fear loss because loss threatens our identity. We fear change because change means the dissolution of what we think we are. This leads to chronic dissatisfaction, anxiety, and a persistent feeling of lacking something. We are constantly seeking external validation, external happiness, believing that something out there will complete us. But the ego's thirst is insatiable. It's a bottomless pit. Even when we achieve what we desire, the satisfaction is fleeting, and the ego immediately moves on to the next craving. This endless cycle of wanting and fleeting satisfaction is what keeps us trapped in a state of suffering. The ego doesn't want you to be fully present because its very existence depends on the belief that you are not whole, that you are not complete now. Its survival relies on keeping you alienated from the present moment, on convincing you that true life, true fulfillment, lies somewhere else in some other time. Understanding this is the first crucial step toward disidentifying from the ego and reclaiming the immense power that lies dormant within the present. Liberating ourselves from pain, understanding the pain body. As we continue our exploration into the depths of the power of now, we arrive at a concept that, for many, is deeply resonant and incredibly liberating: the pain body. If you've ever felt inexplicable waves of sadness, anger, fear, or anxiety arise within you, seemingly without a direct external trigger, or if you find yourself reacting disproportionately to minor annoyances, you've likely encountered your pain body. Tolle describes the pain body as an accumulation of old emotional pain that resides within us, a semi-autonomous energy field of negative emotion. It's like a residue of all the past suffering, grief, anger, resentment, fear, sadness, that wasn't fully faced, accepted, and released at the time it occurred. Instead, it was suppressed, denied, or intellectualized, and it simply got stored in our energetic field, waiting for an opportunity to awaken. Imagine it as a dormant entity within you, composed of old hurt. This pain body can lie quiescent for long periods, but it has a powerful tendency to awaken and feed itself. And what does it feed on? More pain. It seeks out experiences that resonate with its own frequency, whether it's through negative thoughts, dramatic situations, arguments, or self-pity. When activated, it takes over your thinking, your emotions, and even your behavior. Suddenly, you might find yourself dwelling on past injustices, spiraling into negative thought patterns, or engaging in arguments purely for the sake of drama. The activated pain body often seeks to victimize or be victimized, to blame others, or to create conflict, because this negative energy is what sustains it. It literally thrives on your unhappiness, your emotional turmoil. The tricky part about the pain body is that when it's active, it's incredibly difficult to distinguish its voice from your own. It masquerades as you. You might think, I'm just feeling angry, or this sadness is who I am. But Tolle urges us to recognize that these intense, often overwhelming emotional states are not who you are. They are patterns of old energy that have temporarily hijacked your consciousness. The pain body might make you feel depressed for no apparent reason, or trigger intense resentment towards a loved one over a minor issue, or even push you into self-destructive behaviors. Its ultimate goal is its own survival, and it achieves this by causing you to suffer. So, how do we begin to disidentify from this powerful entity? The first and most crucial step is recognition. You cannot transform something you are not aware of. When you feel a wave of intense negative emotion arising, instead of immediately getting caught up in the story your mind creates around it, e.g., I'm sad because of X, or he always makes me angry, pause. Ask yourself, is this emotion truly me, or is it the pain body waking up? Just the act of observing it, of noticing its presence without judgment, begins to create a space between you and the emotion. You become the observer, rather than being consumed by it. This is the essence of presence. By acknowledging the pain body's presence, by feeling the uncomfortable energy without intellectualizing it or trying to push it away, you begin to withdraw energy from it. It's like shining a light into a dark room. The darkness cannot survive when illuminated. When you bring your conscious awareness to the pain body, when you allow yourself to feel the uncomfortable sensation without labeling it good or bad, without adding more thought to it, you start to transmute it. It cannot feed on your awareness. It can only feed on your unconscious identification. This process isn't about getting rid of the pain, but about transforming it. It's about letting the old pain become fuel for your presence. This conscious confrontation with the pain body is a courageous act, a powerful step towards true inner liberation and the reclaiming of your emotional autonomy. Stepping into the now, the gateway to transformation. Having understood the nature of the ego and the pain body, we now arrive at the heart of Tolle's teaching. How to actually step into the now. This isn't just a philosophical concept. It's the practical key to transformation. The now isn't a point in time that exists for a split second and then vanishes. The now is the eternal, timeless present moment, the only reality that ever truly exists. It's the space in which everything unfolds. And the gateway to this space is your attention. Think about it. Where is your attention right now? Is it fully immersed in these words, in the sound of my voice, in the subtle sensations in your body? Or is your mind already drifting, planning, analyzing? Tolle emphasizes that presence is the ability to bring your full, undivided attention to whatever you are doing, experiencing, or perceiving in this very moment. It's about consciously shifting your awareness from the endless chatter of your mind to the living reality of the present. This doesn't mean becoming mindless or passive. It means becoming mindful, fully awake to the moment, whatever it may hold. So, how do we practice this? Tolle offers simple, yet profoundly effective exercises. The most fundamental is to bring your awareness to your senses. Right now, wherever you are, become fully aware of your breath. Feel the air entering and leaving your nostrils, the subtle rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. Don't try to change your breath, just observe it. This simple act immediately pulls your attention out of the mental realm and into the physical reality of the now. Another powerful practice is to notice the sounds around you. Listen without judgment, simply allowing the sounds to enter your awareness. Hear the distant traffic, the hum of an appliance, the birds chirping. Don't label them, just listen. Similarly, become aware of your physical body. Feel the sensations in your hands, your feet, your entire physical form. Can you feel the subtle energy, the aliveness within your fingers or toes? These are all entry points into the now. The beauty of these practices lies in their simplicity and immediate accessibility. You don't need a special location or extended meditation sessions, though those are valuable too. You can practice presence while washing dishes, walking, listening to someone, or even waiting in line. The key is to consciously make a decision to bring your full attention to whatever you are doing. If you're washing dishes, just wash dishes. Feel the warm water, the texture of the sponge, the shape of the plate. When your mind inevitably wanders off into thought, simply notice it. Gently bring your attention back to the task at hand, without judgment or frustration. This gentle but firm redirection of attention is the essence of building your presence muscle. Why is this so transformative? Because the present moment is where all your power lies. It's where action happens, where decisions are made, where life unfolds. The past is gone. The future hasn't arrived. When you are fully present, you are no longer at the mercy of the ego's endless mental loops or the pain body's gravitational pull. You become less reactive and more responsive. You start to see things as they are, rather than through the distorting lens of your conditioned mind. The energy that was previously consumed by unproductive thinking becomes available for creative expression, for deep connection, and for simply being. This stepping into the now is not just a technique, it's a shift in consciousness, a profound reorientation to reality that opens up a world of peace, clarity, and true aliveness. It is, in essence, the very act of waking up, the conscious mind, embracing inner stillness. As we deepen our understanding of the power of now, we move from the outer practices of presence to the inner landscape of the conscious mind, and a concept that might initially seem paradoxical: inner stillness or silence. For many, the idea of a silent mind is almost unfathomable. Our culture often equates intelligence with constant thought and busyness with productivity. Yet Tolle reveals that true clarity, wisdom, and peace emerge not from more thinking, but from the spaciousness that arises when the incessant mental chatter subsides. This inner stillness is not an absence, but a profound presence, a deep intelligence that lies beneath the surface of thought. Imagine your mind as a turbulent ocean, constantly churned by waves of thought, emotion, and external stimuli. Inner stillness is like finding the deep, calm current beneath those waves. It's the space between your thoughts, the silence behind the sounds, the vast awareness that contains all experience. When we are identified with our thinking, we are like a cork bobbing frantically on the surface of that ocean, at the mercy of every wave. But when we access inner stillness, we become the ocean itself, vast, calm, and capable of containing all the superficial disturbances without being overwhelmed. How do we cultivate this inner stillness? It begins with noticing the gaps. Tolle encourages us to pay attention to the spaces between our thoughts. For instance, after one thought ends, and before the next one begins, there's a tiny gap, a moment of pure consciousness. These gaps are often imperceptible because we quickly fill them with more thinking. The practice is to intentionally create these gaps and consciously expand them. One way to do this is through mindful observation. When you observe something, a tree, a cloud, a person, try to do so without immediately labeling it, judging it, or connecting it to a past or future thought. Just observe its raw presence. In that moment of pure, non-conceptual observation, the mind becomes still. Another powerful gateway to inner stillness is focusing on sensory input without interpretation. When you truly listen to a sound, without trying to figure out what it is or where it's coming from, but simply allowing the pure sensation of sound to enter your awareness, a space opens up. Similarly, feeling your breath or the sensations in your body, as we discussed in the previous section, are direct paths to this inner quietude. These practices ground you in the now and naturally quiet the busy mind. The key is not to try to stop thinking, because that itself is a thought. Instead, it's about shifting your attention away from the thought stream and into pure awareness. The benefits of accessing this inner silence are truly transformative. First, it brings profound peace. When the mind is still, the incessant worry, anxiety, and mental drama fade. You discover a sense of inherent calm that is independent of external circumstances. Second, it enhances clarity and insight. When the mental noise subsides, you can hear the whisper of your intuition, the deeper wisdom that lies beyond intellectual analysis. Solutions to problems might emerge spontaneously, not from frantic thinking, but from a quiet knowing. Third, it allows for deeper connection. When your mind is still, you can truly listen to others, not just their words, but their essence. You can connect with the deeper intelligence of life itself. This inner stillness is not a state of emptiness or dullness. It's a state of heightened awareness, vibrant aliveness, and profound peace. It's the spaciousness in which creativity flourishes and genuine insight arises. By consciously cultivating moments of inner silence throughout your day, you begin to dissolve the ego's hold, disidentify from the incessant thought stream, and connect with the vast, boundless intelligence that is your true nature. It is in this stillness that you truly begin to hear the voice of your deeper self, a voice that always speaks in the present moment, always offering guidance, always pointing you towards peace. The end of time's illusion, living beyond past and future. Continuing our journey with Eckhart Tolle, we now confront one of the most deeply ingrained and insidious illusions that keeps us from the present moment: the illusion of psychological time. We all operate within chronological time, the clock, the calendar, the sequence of events. This is essential for practical life, for planning, and for remembering. But Tolle makes a crucial distinction between chronological time and psychological time. Psychological time is the mind's incessant preoccupation with the past and the future, to the detriment of the now. It's the belief that the past defines you, and the future holds the key to your happiness, and that the present is merely a stepping stone to something else. For the ego, time is its lifeline. The ego thrives on making you believe that you are not whole now. It constantly tells you, you'll be happy when you achieve this goal, or you can't be truly at peace until you resolve that past issue. It convinces you that your suffering is a result of something that happened, or something that will happen. This creates an endless cycle of dissatisfaction, always chasing an elusive future state, or trying to fix an unchangeable past. We become so accustomed to living in psychological time that we rarely notice its profound draining effect on our energy and vitality. Our entire lives can become a waiting game, a constant preparation for a future that never truly arrives as we imagine it, because when it does, it immediately becomes the present, and our minds jump ahead again. Tolle urges us to recognize this illusion. The past exists only as a memory in the present moment, and the future exists only as a thought or an expectation in the present moment. They are not independently real outside of your mind's current activity. When you dwell on the past, you are activating old thought patterns and emotional residues in the present. When you worry about the future, you are creating mental scenarios and generating anxiety in the present. All psychological time operates within the canvas of the now. The moment you realize this, the power of these mental constructs begins to dissolve. So how do we disidentify from this powerful pull of psychological time? It starts with conscious awareness. When your mind begins to drift into regret about the past or anxiety about the future, notice it. Say to yourself, there's my mind, creating psychological time again. And then gently, but firmly, bring your attention back to what is happening right now. If you're washing dishes and your mind drifts to a mistake you made last week, bring your attention back to the feel of the water, the texture of the sponge. If you're planning your day and your mind leaps ahead to potential problems, bring your attention back to the sensations of your body, the sounds around you. This is an ongoing practice, not a one-time achievement. This doesn't mean we stop planning for the future or learning from the past. Tolle is very clear on this. We use chronological time for practical purposes, setting appointments, learning from experiences, planning projects. But we don't allow psychological time to dominate our inner landscape. We don't get lost in the past or future to the point where the vibrant reality of the now is eclipsed. The key is to remain rooted in the present while performing tasks that involve time. For example, when you're planning, do it fully, consciously, in the now. When you're done planning, return your attention to the present moment, to the sensations, to the sounds, to the stillness. The profound benefit of dissolving psychological time is that it liberates an enormous amount of mental and emotional energy. When you are no longer constantly fighting the past or fearing the future, that energy becomes available for creativity, for joy, for deeper connection, and for simply being. You discover that the peace and happiness you are always seeking in some imagined future are actually inherent in the present moment, waiting for you to simply be aware of them. By understanding and transcending the illusion of psychological time, you reclaim your true power and step into a life lived not in waiting, but in vibrant, ever-present aliveness. The true meaning of being, connecting with your essence. In our ongoing exploration of the power of now, we now turn our attention to one of the most profound and perhaps initially abstract concepts that Eckhart Tolle presents, the meaning of being. This isn't about who you are in terms of your personality, your roles, or your life story. It's about what you are at the deepest, most fundamental level. Tolle uses the term being to refer to the eternal, formless, unmanifested life that is the very essence of who you are, beyond your name, your past, your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical body. It's the universal intelligence, the pure consciousness that animates all forms. Our conventional understanding of self is heavily focused on having and doing. We define ourselves by what we possess, what we achieve, what roles we play. I am a successful entrepreneur. I have a beautiful family. I am a helpful friend. While these aspects are part of our human experience, they are ultimately transient forms. They come and go. When we are deeply identified with these forms, our sense of self becomes fragile, constantly vulnerable to loss and change. This identification with form creates suffering, because all forms are impermanent. Tolle invites us to shift our attention from these superficial forms to the vast, formless being that underlies them. This is not about becoming nothing. It's about recognizing that you are the space in which everything happens. You are the awareness, the consciousness that observes your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and the world around you. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness of your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness of your emotions. This recognition is a profound realization that liberates you from the confines of the ego and the endless search for identity in external forms. How do we connect with this deeper being? It's not something you do in the conventional sense, because being is already who you are. It's about becoming aware of it, allowing it to emerge. One primary way is through presence, as we've discussed. When you bring your full, non-judgmental attention to the now, when you become present, you naturally drop below the surface of thought and ego. You become aware of the stillness, the aliveness that permeates everything, including your own inner space. This stillness, this aliveness, is a direct emanation of being. Another powerful method is through the inner body awareness, which Tolle will delve into more deeply later. By feeling the life within your body, not just the physical structure, but the subtle energy field that animates it, you connect directly with the formless dimension of being. It's the aliveness you feel when you simply bring your awareness to your hands, your feet, or your entire being. This inner vibration, this sense of quiet aliveness, is a direct doorway to your deeper essence. The profound benefit of connecting with being is that it brings an incredible sense of wholeness and completion. When you realize that your true self is this vast, boundless consciousness, you no longer feel the desperate need to seek fulfillment in external achievements, possessions, or relationships. You recognize that peace, joy, and love are not things you get, but states of being that are inherent within you, waiting to be acknowledged. This realization also brings a profound sense of interconnectedness. When you recognize the being within yourself, you simultaneously recognize it in all other living beings. The perceived separateness, created by the ego's identification with form, begins to dissolve, fostering compassion and true empathy. Living from being doesn't mean becoming inactive or unmotivated. On the contrary, when your actions arise from this deeper state of presence, they are more effective, more joyful, and less prone to egoic striving. You act not out of a need for something, but from the overflow of your own completeness. This connection to being is the ultimate freedom, a profound liberation from the endless drama of the ego and the relentless search for identity in a world of impermanent forms. It is discovering the timeless, indestructible essence that you truly are. Conscious relationships, love, presence, and authentic connection. As we integrate the principles of the power of now into our lives, one of the most transformative areas where its impact becomes dramatically evident is in our relationships. Eckhart Tolle reveals that most human relationships, while often driven by a yearning for love and connection, are actually dominated by the ego, leading to drama, conflict, and dissatisfaction. Conscious relationships, on the other hand, are relationships rooted in presence, where love flows freely because the ego's interference is minimized. Think about how often relationships become battlegrounds for the ego. We project our past wounds onto our partners, we demand that they fulfill our unfulfilled needs, we blame them for our unhappiness, or we try to control them to feel secure. The ego constantly seeks to get something from the other person: recognition, validation, security, or even a sense of superiority. This getting dynamic often masquerades as love, but it's really a form of dependency, a desperate attempt to complete ourselves through another. When these egoic needs aren't met, frustration, resentment, and conflict inevitably arise. The pain body also plays a significant role here, often getting activated in relationships, triggering old emotional patterns and leading to irrational reactions that perpetuate cycles of suffering. So how do we transform these dynamics into conscious relationships? The answer lies in presence. When you bring your full presence to an interaction, you are no longer operating from the conditioned patterns of your ego or the reactive energy of your pain body. Instead, you are relating from a deeper space of awareness and stillness. When you are truly present with another person, you are not thinking about what they said 5 minutes ago, what you're going to say next, or how they should be. You are simply here with them, listening, observing, and accepting them as they are in this moment. This presence creates a space for true love to emerge. Tolle emphasizes that love is not an emotion in the conventional sense that comes and goes. Love is a deeper state of being, a natural emanation of your presence. When you are fully present, you are open, non-judgmental, and connected to the universal essence that you share with the other person. From this space, empathy and compassion flow naturally. You recognize the being in the other, beyond their personality, their flaws, or their egoic patterns. This doesn't mean you condone harmful behavior, but it means you relate to the deeper essence of who they are, which is beyond form and beyond judgment. One of the most powerful practices for conscious relationships is deep listening. When another person is speaking, practice listening without forming your rebuttal, without interpreting their words through your filters, and without getting caught in the story they are telling. Just listen with an open, still awareness. This radical act of presence allows the other person to feel truly seen and heard, and it creates a space for genuine connection that transcends superficial communication. Similarly, when conflict arises, instead of immediately reacting from your ego or pain body, take a pause. Bring your awareness to your inner space. Feel the emotional charge without acting on it. This pause, this moment of presence, gives you the freedom to choose your response rather than being driven by unconscious reactions. Conscious relationships also involve acceptance. Accepting the other person as they are, in this moment, without trying to change them, is a profound act of love. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or unhealthy dynamics, but it means letting go of the ego's incessant need to mold others to fit its expectations. When you accept the other, you also inherently accept yourself. By bringing presence and acceptance into your relationships, you dismantle the ego's structures of demand and conflict, allowing genuine love, connection, and harmony to flourish. It's a journey of mutual awakening, where each interaction becomes an opportunity to deepen your presence and experience the true joy of being with another. Acceptance and surrender, the profound strength of non-resistance. As we continue our exploration of the power of now, we arrive at two of Eckhart Tolle's most powerful and often misunderstood concepts: acceptance and surrender. In our modern, action-oriented world, these words can sometimes conjure images of passivity, weakness, or giving up. However, Tolle redefines them as acts of profound strength, radical presence, and the ultimate gateway to freedom from suffering. Acceptance is about acknowledging what is, in this moment, without judgment or resistance. Surrender is the deeper, sustained practice of aligning yourself with the flow of life, rather than fighting against it. Think about how much energy we expend resisting reality. We resist what happened in the past. It shouldn't have happened this way. What is happening in the present? This shouldn't be happening to me. Or what might happen in the future? I can't cope if that happens. This resistance is primarily mental and emotional. It's the no that our ego says to life. When we mentally or emotionally resist what is, we create internal conflict, which manifests as stress, anxiety, anger, and dissatisfaction. This internal struggle is the true source of our suffering, not the external event itself. The event is. Our resistance to it creates the pain. So how do we practice acceptance? It begins with a simple, conscious choice to stop saying no to the present moment. When you encounter a challenging situation, a difficult emotion, or an undesirable circumstance, instead of immediately labeling it as bad or trying to push it away, bring your awareness to it. Acknowledge it fully. This doesn't mean you like it, or that you won't take action to change it if appropriate. It simply means you accept that this is what is happening right now. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, instead of raging against it mentally, simply accept the fact that you are stuck in traffic. Feel the sensations in your body without judgment. This immediate acceptance releases an enormous amount of tension and allows you to be fully present with the reality of the moment. Surrender takes this acceptance a step further. It's the conscious act of relinquishing your resistance to the flow of life. It's the realization that when you are faced with a situation that you cannot change, or an emotion that is overwhelming, fighting against it only prolongs and intensifies your suffering. Surrender is about saying a deep internal yes to whatever is happening, knowing that the universe, or life itself, is unfolding as it needs to. This doesn't mean becoming passive or resigning yourself to suffering. It means recognizing that inner peace comes not from controlling external events, but from aligning with them. It's a profound act of trust in the intelligence of life. When we surrender, we open ourselves to solutions and insights that were previously obscured by our resistance. The energy that was tied up in fighting reality becomes available for constructive action. If a situation can be changed, action will often arise spontaneously from a place of presence and acceptance rather than from a place of fear or frustration. If a situation cannot be changed, surrender allows you to find an inner peace amidst the external difficulty. Tolle often says that surrender is about recognizing what is and isn't your business. Many things are not your business to change, but your reaction to them always is. The power of acceptance and surrender is immense. It dissolves the ego's need for control, which is a constant source of suffering. It frees you from the tyranny of the past and future, grounding you firmly in the eternal now. When you accept the present moment unconditionally, you align yourself with the very flow of life, and in that alignment you discover a profound sense of peace, spaciousness, and liberation. This radical acceptance is not weakness. It is the ultimate expression of inner strength and spiritual intelligence. Transforming suffering into peace, the path of psychological death. We now arrive at one of the most profound and challenging aspects of Eckhart Tolle's teachings in The Power of Now. Transforming suffering into peace through what he calls psychological death. This concept might sound daunting, even frightening, but it's not about physical death or sacrificing joy. Instead, it's about the conscious ending of certain aspects of your egoic self, particularly those patterns that create and perpetuate suffering. It's a deep, inner dissolution that allows for a profound rebirth into presence. Most of us try to avoid suffering at all costs. When pain arises, whether physical or emotional, our natural inclination is to resist it, push it away, or distract ourselves from it. While this is understandable, Tolle argues that this resistance is precisely what turns pain into suffering. Pain is an inevitable part of life's journey. It's a signal, a teacher, a natural response to certain experiences. Suffering, however, is our psychological resistance to pain. It's the ego's no to what is, the internal drama we create around the pain. When we resist, the pain becomes trapped, festering, and often reactivating the pain body. The path of psychological death is about consciously facing and embracing pain when it arises, particularly emotional pain, without adding more thought or story to it. When an intense emotion like grief, anger, fear, or deep sadness surfaces, instead of immediately intellectualizing it, blaming someone, or trying to suppress it, Tolle advises us to bring our full, non-judgmental awareness to it. Feel the raw energy of the emotion in your body. Where do you feel it? Is it a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, a burning sensation? Allow it to be there, without resistance. This is the moment of surrender to the pain. By fully embracing the pain with your conscious presence, you are not wallowing in it. You are doing something revolutionary. You are effectively shining the light of consciousness onto a shadow, an old pattern that has been living in the darkness of unconsciousness. When you bring presence to suffering, you are essentially dissolving it. The pain body, which thrives on unconscious resistance and identification, cannot survive in the light of awareness. It begins to dissipate, transmute, and release its hold on you. This process can be intense, as old, suppressed energy comes to the surface to be felt and released. It might feel uncomfortable, but it is ultimately liberating. This psychological death is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Every time you consciously face and accept a painful emotion or a difficult life situation without resistance, you are undergoing a small death of the ego's attachment to how things should be. You are letting go of the old, conditioned self that resists reality. Each small death creates more inner space, more freedom, more peace. It allows you to become less identified with your personal story of suffering and more aligned with the deeper, peaceful current of your being. The profound result of this process is a deep and lasting peace that transcends external circumstances. It's not a superficial happiness that depends on things going your way. It's a fundamental peace that arises from within, from your surrender to what is. When you are no longer resisting pain, you are no longer creating suffering. You become free to experience life as it unfolds, knowing that even in moments of challenge, you can find an underlying stillness and spaciousness. This path of psychological death is the ultimate alchemy, turning the lead of suffering into the gold of awakened consciousness and true inner peace. The inner body, your portal to deeper being. As we continue our journey into the practical application of the power of now, Eckhart Tolle introduces a powerful and often overlooked pathway to presence: the inner body. This isn't just about your physical anatomy, your bones, muscles, and organs. It's about the subtle energy field, the vibrant aliveness that permeates every cell of your physical form. Tolle presents the inner body as a direct portal, a tangible doorway to the deeper dimension of being, a place where you can directly experience the formless life that animates you. In our modern world, we tend to live primarily in our heads. Our consciousness is largely focused on thought, external perceptions, and the activities of the mind. We often use our bodies merely as vehicles or as tools for our mind's desires, rarely paying attention to the intricate, silent intelligence that operates within them. This disidentification from our bodies leaves us feeling fragmented, disconnected, and often vulnerable to the mind's incessant chatter. The inner body practice is about shifting our awareness from the head to the body, grounding ourselves in the living present moment. How do we access this inner body? It's remarkably simple, yet profoundly effective. The practice involves bringing your conscious attention into the various parts of your body and feeling the life force within them. For instance, right now, wherever you are, close your eyes for a moment if comfortable, and bring your attention to your hands. Don't think about your hands. Feel them. Can you feel the subtle energy, the tingling, the warmth, the aliveness in your palms, your fingers? Now, extend that awareness to your feet. Feel the soles of your feet, your toes. Can you feel the subtle energy there? Then, gradually expand your awareness to include your entire body, from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, as a unified field of energy. Feel your body from within. This isn't about conjuring a sensation. It's about becoming aware of what is already there. Tolle suggests practicing this frequently throughout the day, even for short moments. When you're walking, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you're sitting, feel the chair supporting you. When you're waiting, consciously bring your awareness into your inner body. This practice serves several vital purposes. Firstly, it grounds you firmly in the present moment. When your attention is in your body, it's impossible to be simultaneously lost in thought about the past or the future. It immediately pulls your consciousness out of the mind's endless loops. Secondly, accessing the inner body helps to quiet the mind. When a significant portion of your attention is consciously anchored in the body, There's less attention available for the egoic mind to create its endless stream of thoughts and worries. It acts as a powerful anchor against mental turbulence. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, the inner body is a direct doorway to being. The aliveness you feel within your body is a direct manifestation of the formless, unmanifested life that is your essence. By continually connecting with this inner vitality, you are not just connecting with your physical self, but with the universal life force that animates all existence. You are literally feeling your connection to the source. The benefits are transformative. A deep sense of peace, a feeling of being rooted and centered, increased vitality, and a reduction in mental chatter. It allows you to operate from a place of intuitive knowing rather than solely intellectual analysis. By consistently bringing your attention to the inner body, you begin to live not just in your body, but as your body's aliveness, which is the formless being itself. This practice ensures that your spiritual awakening isn't just a mental concept, but a deeply felt, embodied reality, bringing a profound sense of integration and wholeness to your experience of life. The joy of being, discovering life beyond desire. As we near the culmination of our exploration into the power of now, we arrive at a truly inspiring destination, the joy of being. For many, happiness is synonymous with acquiring things, achieving goals, or having certain external circumstances align. We believe that joy is something we get from the world. However, Eckhart Tolle presents a radical and liberating truth. True joy is not something you get from outside. It is a state of being that emerges from within, independent of external conditions. It is the natural feeling of aliveness that arises when you are deeply connected to the present moment and disidentified from the ego's endless cycle of desire. Our conventional understanding of joy is often rooted in the ego's pursuit of more. The ego constantly tells us, "You'll be happy when you have that new car," or "You'll be truly fulfilled when you achieve that promotion," or "Your life will be perfect when you find the ideal partner." This creates a relentless cycle of desiring, achieving, and then immediately moving on to the next desire, because the satisfaction is always fleeting. The ego's thirst is insatiable. It's a bottomless pit that can never truly be filled by external acquisitions. This constant striving and attachment to outcomes is the very source of our suffering, because it binds our joy to impermanent forms and future conditions. The joy of being is a completely different kind of happiness. It is not dependent on circumstances being good or bad. It is the underlying current of aliveness, peace, and effervescence that emerges when you are fully present, when you are simply being in the now, without the mind's endless commentary or the ego's desperate striving. You tap into the inherent perfection and sacredness of this moment. It's the joy of truly seeing a flower, of feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, of experiencing the simple act of breathing without adding any mental labels or desires to it. It's the realization that life itself, in its raw, unfiltered presence, is a miracle. How do we access this joy of being? It comes naturally when you integrate the practices we've discussed, dissolving psychological time, surrendering to what is, and grounding yourself in the inner body. When the ego's dominance recedes and the pain body's grip loosens, the fundamental aliveness that is your true nature begins to shine through. You realize that happiness isn't something to be pursued, it's something to be allowed. It's already here, waiting to be recognized beneath the layers of mental noise and emotional turbulence. This doesn't mean becoming passive or losing motivation. In fact, when your actions spring from the joy of being, they are more effective, more inspired, and less burdensome. You act not out of a desperate need to get somewhere or acquire something, but from a place of overflow, of appreciation for the present moment. Your goals become less about egoic fulfillment and more about creative expression or service. You find joy in the process itself, rather than solely in the outcome. When you wash dishes, you find joy in the present act of washing dishes. When you work, you find joy in the present act of working. The profound liberation that comes from discovering the joy of being is that you are no longer enslaved by the external world's fleeting rewards. You realize that the greatest treasure is the life that flows through you, the aliveness of the now. This realization transforms your relationship with everything. You become less reactive to external events, more resilient in the face of challenges, and more profoundly grateful for the simple miracle of existence. The joy of being is not a fleeting emotion. It's the constant underlying hum of peace and aliveness that becomes your natural state when you are fully present, realizing that you are complete, whole, and perfect, just as you are right now. Conscious manifestation, creating from the present moment. As we approach the practical culmination of the power of now, many people wonder, if we're meant to live in the present, does that mean we stop having goals or desires? Does it mean we can't strive for things in the future? Eckhart Tolle addresses this by introducing the concept of conscious manifestation, which is fundamentally different from ego-driven striving. It's about creating your reality not from a place of lack or future-oriented grasping, but from a profound state of presence and alignment with the now. Traditional manifestation often begins with a perceived lack. I don't have enough money, so I need to manifest more. I'm not happy, so I need to manifest a better relationship. This approach, driven by the ego, is rooted in the belief that external things will complete us. While intentions are set, the underlying energy is often one of wanting, needing, and a subtle anxiety about not having. This creates a push-pull dynamic where we unknowingly resist the very thing we desire by focusing on its absence. Conscious manifestation, by contrast, begins from a place of wholeness and presence. It starts with the understanding that you are already complete in the now, connected to the abundant source of all creation being. From this place of inner completeness, desires arise not as desperate cravings, but as natural expressions of your deepest self, as intuitions or inspirations. When you are fully present, you are connected to an intelligence far greater than your analytical mind. This is where true creative power resides. So how does this work in practice? Firstly, clarify your intention in the now. Instead of getting lost in elaborate future scenarios, bring your desire into the present moment. Feel the essence of what you want as if it were already here. This isn't about deluding yourself. It's about aligning your inner state with the energy of your desire. For instance, if you desire more abundance, instead of focusing on the lack of money, focus on the feeling of abundance, the sense of security and freedom, right now. Secondly, take inspired action from the present moment. This is crucial. Conscious manifestation doesn't mean passively waiting for things to drop into your lap. It means performing the actions that feel right. that align with your deepest intuition, and doing so with full presence. You act not out of a frantic need to control outcomes, but out of an inner prompting, a clear step that presents itself in the now. Every task, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity for present action. When you work on a project, you're fully engaged in that specific task, rather than simultaneously worrying about the final result. This presence ensures that your actions are efficient, joyful, and powerfully aligned. Thirdly, surrender the outcome. This is perhaps the most challenging aspect for the ego. Once you've clarified your intention and taken inspired action, you release your attachment to how or when the outcome will manifest. You trust that the universe, or life itself, will orchestrate the details in perfect timing. This surrender is not apathy. It's a deep trust in the intelligence of the present moment. It frees you from the anxiety of expectation and allows the flow of life to bring what is truly aligned with your highest good. The profound power of conscious manifestation is that it brings your creative power back into the now. You realize that your ability to create is not dependent on future striving, but on the quality of your consciousness in the present. When your actions flow from a place of presence, peace, and inner completeness, they carry a far greater potency than actions driven by egoic desire and anxiety. You become a co-creator with the universe, aligning with the intelligent flow of life, and discovering that true abundance and fulfillment are not about what you acquire, but about who you are being in every precious moment. Living the power of now in daily life. We've explored the profound teachings of Eckhart Tolle, from understanding the ego and the pain body to embracing inner stillness and the joy of being. Now, as we bring our journey to a close, the most vital question remains: how do we truly live the power of now in our everyday lives? This isn't a philosophy to be discussed in theory. It's a way of being that transforms every aspect of your existence. It's about integrating presence into the mundane, the challenging, and the beautiful moments that make up your day. The key is to remember that presence isn't something you do once and then you're done. It's an ongoing practice, a continuous choice to bring your full attention to the moment at hand. Life will constantly pull you back into thought, into the past, into the future. That's simply the nature of the mind. The practice is to gently, repeatedly bring yourself back to the now, without self-judgment or frustration. Every time you catch yourself lost in thought and then return to the present, you are strengthening your presence muscle. So let's talk about practical ways to integrate this into your daily routine. Start with your senses. Whenever you find yourself caught in mental chatter, use your senses as anchors to the present. Feel your breath. Listen to the ambient sounds around you. Notice the colors and textures in your environment. Feel the subtle sensations in your body. This instantly pulls your attention out of your head and into the living reality of the now. Embrace routine tasks as opportunities for presence. Don't view routine tasks like washing dishes, walking, showering, or commuting as mere means to an end. See them as sacred opportunities to practice presence. When you're washing dishes, just wash dishes. Feel the water, the soap, the plates. When you're walking, feel your feet on the ground, the air on your skin. These moments become gateways to deeper awareness, conscious listening. In conversations, make a conscious effort to truly listen to the other person. Not just their words, but the space between their words, their body language, the energy they are conveying. Listen without planning your response, without judging, without interpreting through your past experiences. This deep listening transforms relationships. Respond, don't react. When challenging situations arise, or when your pain body or ego is triggered, pause. Don't immediately react from conditioned patterns. Take a breath. Bring your awareness to the inner sensation of the emotion. This moment of conscious pause gives you the space to choose a conscious response, rather than being driven by an unconscious reaction. This is where true freedom lies. Accept what is. When you encounter something you cannot change in the moment, practice acceptance. Mentally or verbally say yes to it. This doesn't mean you like it, but it means you stop fighting reality internally. This releases an enormous amount of inner tension and allows you to either find peace within the situation or find a clearer path to action if change is possible. Regular space intervals. Throughout your day, consciously create little pockets of no thought. Even 30 seconds of simply being, without thinking, without doing, can be incredibly restorative. This could be looking out a window, sitting quietly, or simply being aware of the silence. Living the power of now is a continuous unraveling of the ego's hold and a deepening into the truth of who you are. It's not about perfection, but about persistence and compassion towards yourself. It's about remembering that the power to transform your life isn't in some distant future or in a different set of circumstances. It's inherent in this very moment, waiting for you to simply be present enough to claim it. Every conscious breath, every moment of true presence is a step towards a life of profound peace, joy, and authentic power. As we bring our comprehensive journey through Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now to a close, let's distill the profound wisdom we've uncovered into its most essential truth, the core message that resonates throughout every chapter and practice. This isn't just a book. It's a map to inner liberation, a guide for waking up to the extraordinary reality of your own existence. The principal message of Eckhart Tolle, the absolute heart of the power of now, is this: your true freedom, your lasting peace, and your deepest joy are found only in the present moment. This powerful assertion stands in stark contrast to how most of us live. For years, we've been conditioned to believe that happiness, fulfillment, and true identity lie somewhere else, in a future achievement, in a past memory, or in an external validation. We've been taught to live predominantly in the conceptual realm of thought, driven by the ego's endless narratives, its insatiable desires, and its ceaseless preoccupation with psychological time. Tolle profoundly reveals that this identification with the mind and with the illusion of time is the very root of our suffering. The ego, that false sense of self created by incessant thinking, keeps us fragmented, anxious, and alienated from the vibrant aliveness of life as it unfolds. It feeds on our past regrets and future anxieties, ensuring that we never quite settle into the rich, abundant reality of the now. The pain body, that accumulated residue of old emotional hurt, constantly seeks to reactivate, pulling us back into cycles of emotional turmoil. These are the chains that bind us. But the extraordinary news, the true revelation of Tolle's work, is that liberation is not a distant goal. It is instantly accessible. The path to this freedom lies in disidentification from the mind and in the profound practice of presence. It's about consciously withdrawing your attention from the ego's relentless chatter, from the pull of the past and the lure of the future, and instead anchoring it fully, completely, and non-judgmentally in the only moment that ever truly exists. This one. When you become present, you cease to be merely a fragmented individual defined by your history and your thoughts. You reconnect with your deeper being, the formless, timeless essence of who you truly are, the awareness, the consciousness that observes all thoughts and experiences. In this state of pure presence, you discover an inherent peace, a profound stillness, and a vibrant aliveness that is entirely independent of external circumstances. You realize that peace and joy are not qualities you acquire, but states of being that are always within you, waiting to be recognized. This awakening to the power of the now transforms everything. Your relationships become more authentic. Your actions become more effective and inspired. Your understanding of yourself deepens, and your experience of life transcends the ordinary. It's a journey from the noisy confines of the egoic mind to the vast, open spaciousness of conscious awareness. So as you step forward from this moment, I invite you to make this truth your own. Don't just understand it intellectually. Experiment with it, live it. Begin your own conscious journey into the power of now. Remember, the doorway to your freedom is always open, always available, always here. All it requires is your presence. What is one small step you can take today to bring more presence into your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this journey of awakening together.